Hey, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that about 8 years ago, I lost 120 pounds through exercise, like mostly resistance training and some HIIT and some cardio, right? Changing my eating habits, high protein, low carb, leaning keto, and then of course some mindset shifts and lifestyle shifts, right? So I wanted to say, or I wanted to take you through, if I wanted to lose 100 pounds in 2025, here's the exact things that I would do to make that happen, all right? So stick around, that's what I'm sharing today, all right? Okay, so lots of people lost a lot of weight in 2024. How'd they do it? Ozempic, Wegovy, you know, all those things, right? We saw all the Hollywood stars, like all of a sudden everybody was skinny, okay? And everybody's like, oh shoot, you lost all this weight. And then folks realized it was Ozempic, Wegovy, the thing that started Mirena, or it's not Mirena, but whatever the other names are, right? The semi-glutide, right? And the shots. And so everyone lost weight doing that. And so if you wanted to lose weight in 2025, you could do that, right? But that's not what I'm gonna talk about here. That's not what I would do. And part of the reason is not because I'm judging, right? Because I'm not a judgy one. But the reason I wouldn't do that is because they still don't know the side effects. Like people have, like there's so many people with different side effects. And so I frankly am afraid of that. So that's why I wouldn't do it. But so I'm gonna talk to you, I'm gonna share with you what I would do if I wanted to lose 50 to 100 pounds in 2025. So first, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Ileka Falette. I'm a mom of 4, and about 8 years ago, like I mentioned, I lost 120 pounds through exercise, changing my eating, keto, high protein, low carb eating, and lifestyle changes. And then I kept it off, and I help thousands of women do the same thing, right? I'm here on YouTube, I'm sharing my journey, and I'm sharing tips and tricks along the way. Also, I got a membership on YouTube where we get a lot more like behind the scenes. I go live all the time in the membership, sharing meals, sharing what I'm doing, meal plans, all the things. And in 2025, we're actually gonna go through a process in our membership of like literally creating a plan to take on 2025 the right way. So if you haven't joined our YouTube membership, hop on in. It's on YouTube, so it's not like some extra membership outside of something, but it's on YouTube. So you click join, and it's like, I mean, it's really, really low cost, like $10 or something like that a month. So hop on in and let's do it, all right? So let me give you all these tips, all right? So first, like I said, if you want to do Wegovy, go for it, right? But if that's not you, let's stick around and get these tips, all right? So first thing I would do if I was trying to lose between 50 and 100 pounds in 2025. First thing is start moving. And I know that sounds like, start moving. I mean, come on, that's like really, really like basic, right? But here's the thing. What people tend to do when they're trying to lose weight is they make all these plans, they have all these dreams, get all grandiose, right? And then while they're planning, they ain't doing, right? And so it's like you sitting there planning, but you ain't done nothing. So the reason I said start moving is because you can do that right now. Like literally after watching this video, you could get up and go outside and go for a walk. You could get on your bike or a rowing machine. I just got a really cool new rowing machine that I'm gonna be sharing with y'all. But anyways, you could be doing all of these things, right? Or you could sit there and watch another video, right? But guess what? You could even get up while watching this video. You could be watching this video, stand up and walk in place while watching the video. So that's why I'm like, start moving. Start doing it now and commit to it and keep going, because then that allows you to make progress. I actually have another video coming up where I'm gonna give you like steps to creating your full plan, right? But anyway, so yeah, start moving. That is tip number 1. Start moving. You start doing that and immediately things change. Also, when you start moving, and when I say moving, I'm like, that means exercising, right? It could be cardio, it could be resistance training, whatever it is. But here's the kicker. When we start moving, it hits something here, right? I mean, we all know, you know, the endorphins and dopamine and all these things happen. Of course, that's awesome. But what I'm talking about is, it's like, oh shoot, I just did this workout. I'm not about to go eat and mess it up, right? Like that is what we do. Like we're like, okay, this workout was a lot. I, you know, did 45 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the time is. And I'm not about to get out here and get some ice cream and pizza. Like, No, pizza and ice cream, that's out, right? I'm not doing that, because what I want to do is I want to eat healthy so that the workout actually complements the eating. All right, so you start to shift a little bit just from getting up and moving. All right, so that is tip number one. Tip number two actually leans into the food, right? And I would say tip number two is leaning into whole foods. So whole foods eating, meaning getting rid of as much processed stuff as possible, right? So we are in the United States, for those who are watching US. I know I've got folks who watching in like Nigeria, Ghana, UK, France, and different areas of the Caribbean, right? Shout out to my Bermuda ladies and Bahamas ladies, and Bahamian ladies and stuff like that. But I know I have people who watch in other places, but most of my audience is in the United States, and we have really poor quality food here. Right? Let's just not pretend. So it is tough to get good quality food here. But what I can say is we can do the best we can, right? So when I say the best we can, I'm saying there are opportunities to go and have fast food every day, McDonald's and Burger King and whatever other fast food places are out there, right? It's like in 1952. I only said the 2 fast food places I could think of. Anyways, but it's like we have opportunities to go there every day, right? And some people are doing that. You can choose to do differently. You can say, okay, instead of getting, McDonald's or whatever, or instead of ordering pizza all the time and those types of things, I'm gonna go ahead and lean whole foods. So I'm gonna bring in more fruit into my house. I'm gonna bring more meat, good quality meats into my house. I'm gonna bring more grains even, or vegetables, obviously. Those types of things. I'm gonna bring things that have 1 to 5 ingredients tops into my house. Like when you look at that and you look at the ingredients list and you see a ton of ingredients with 70 different things on it, leave that there, right? Go in the grocery store, shop around the perimeter. You've heard this before. I know you have, right? Shop around the perimeter and get that stuff, right? And over time, I know we all say like organic is better, or grass-fed beef is better, and all these different things, right? And that's super true, right? And at the same time, don't allow perfect to get in the way of better, right? So right now, it's like the choice is to get some random processed foods in the middle of the aisle, chips and stuff like that, or get non-organic celery, right? Get the non-organic celery and avoid the chips, the processed chips. Like that's what we can do. Let's step into the process, right? Take it slow. And that's the next tip is iterate. Like when people jump right into something like, oh, I'm about to lose this weight, so I'm gonna do 17 million things at once. Usually they're setting themselves up to fail, right? It's taking on too much at once. So one of the things that I talk about often is doing it in steps, right? Creating a process. When I lost 120 pounds, I didn't just like start low carb and keto and hit day 1 and was like, oh, I'm killing it, No, I actually started with just like writing down my food. Because I remember when I was 8 years old and I got on my first diet, yes, that's when I started my first diet, the doctors had me write down all of my food, everything that I ate. And they told me to eat certain things or whatever, but initially I remember writing down everything I ate, even if I messed up. And so that's literally where I started. And I, obviously it was like 2016, 2017, so I didn't have to like write it. I put it in like the Lose It app. That's the app that I use. But of course there's MyFitnessPal, there's Carb Manager, there's all these different apps now, right? So I wrote down what I was eating in the apps, and it allowed me to see all the foods that I was eating and see how many calories were in there and see how much protein I was getting and really see what I was doing. And that was helpful. Plus there's something here that says, I don't really want to, I don't want to write down that I ate a pan of brownies, right? So I won't eat a pan of brownies. I'm just going to eat what I can eat. But the point is take it step by step. And that's what I did. I took it step by step, right? So, and that's what I would do in 2025. I wouldn't jump in with, I'm starting a meal plan, workouts and all these things on the same exact day, right? I would start slow, progress into it. So if you start with walking walk for a couple of days, and then start writing down what you're eating, and then start going into low carb or whatever it is, whatever eating style you're choosing, right? But like literally iterate yourself into it. Don't just hop on it, right? So that was step number 3, right? Step number 4, or tip 4, is get an idea of how many calories and protein you need a day for your specific body, right? And so why this is important is because let's say that you were eating, somebody told you, oh, you're supposed to eat, 1,500 calories a day. Everybody, to lose weight, you got to eat 1,500 calories a day. Like, I've heard 1 million people be told they have to eat 1,200 calories a day in order to lose weight. I don't know why. Actually, I feel like it has been 1 million people told that. Anyways, especially women, right? You got to have only 1,200 calories a day, cut down to 1,200 calories a day, and you lose weight. But no one's talking about how that long-term affects your metabolism, your thyroid, the way your body functions, all of these things. Because me at 5'10", right? And when I started 350 pounds or whatever the weight was, right? If I went to 1,200 calories a day, I would messed up my entire metabolism. That's not what I was supposed to be doing, right? We needed to ease into that, right? And so what I would do, and 1,200 might be something that you do some days, and then other days you do, right? And other days you might do 2,000. It depends on what program that you're in. But jumping right to 1,200 a day, just without any sort of guidance or any sort of like testing of your body, is crazy, right? That's wild. And the reason I say that is because you should be doing what is right for your body. So therefore you can go and look on, frankly, you could Google like a calculator, right? There are tons of like self calculators out there for how many calories you should be getting for your body a day. It's called total daily energy expenditure, right? So basically, I don't know why I did that, but basically TDEE, right? What that is it's how many calories your body usually will burn off a day. So it's going to help you understand how many calories you should be getting a day, right? And it's going to be based on like your weight, your age, your height, your activity level, all these things. And this is how much your body should be expending each day. Now, the thing is though, if you've been dieting since you were 8 years old, right? Then, like me, right? then your TDEE may not be the exact same as someone else's who even has your same height, weight, activity level, age, all that stuff. So that's also why it's important to, kind of work with a healthcare practitioner or someone who knows what they're doing, right? Who can actually show you what tests you can have. Like is it DEXA scan or something like that? Like there's different tests that can be done to see what yours actually is. So you could go that level. But there's also ones on Google, right? And just to get started, right? So that's how you get how many calories you should be having. And then you can also go to like Lose It app or MyFitnessPal or something like that. And that'll give you your calories per day to consume, right? Just make it easy for yourself. The other thing you can use for protein also, because protein is important too, is you can do a protein calculator based on your age, weight, height, all those things as well, and activity levels, and you can put that in Google and it'll give it to you. Or you can do a simple calculation of 0.8 to 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of weight, right? So people use that as well. And so for example, if you're 200 pounds and you're saying 200 pounds is about 90 kilograms of weight, right? That's how much, like 200 pounds is equal to about 90 kilograms, right? And so using the calculation of 0.8 to 1.8, that person who weighs 90 kilograms or 200 pounds should have between, generally between 70 and like 160 grams of protein a day. Now, when we're looking at those numbers, most people are not on the 70 level, especially if you're a woman over 30, which is pretty much my entire audience of people who watch my videos. Then you're likely going to want to lean higher into that. So you're going to want to be over 100, right? And at the same time, you can also go and do some testing and see exactly what numbers you are. But for me, I found that I work best, my body works best, and you can test it out too. My body works best where I'm at anywhere between 120 and 150 grams of protein a day. And that's also based on how much activity I've had that day. So on days I don't work out, I'm closer to like the 120. On days where I work out, I'm closer to the 150. Like that's just how my body works. So figure out what that is for you. And for me, that's been through testing over time, meaning testing amounts of food, amounts of protein and counting and tracking my protein. But for you, it could be doing that, or it could be going and getting it tested, right? There's different labs and things that that health practitioners can do for you. All right, so the next tip is setting a goal, right? And notice that I push setting a goal to like, what is this, tip number 4, right? And the reason I moved it way down this list is because what happens is I wanted you to start, right? Like I said, if we sit here planning all day and setting goals, then you don't actually start. So now that you're moving, now that you're removing some processed foods, let's set the goal. And the reason a goal is important is because when people set a goal, they have something to work towards, right? You have something to work towards when you set that goal. So set a goal for a year out, and then backtrack that into 3-month intervals, right? And then backtrack that into 1-month intervals. So what does that mean? Well, if you have that goal to lose 50 pounds in 2025, then now where do you need to be in 6 months? About 25 pounds down, right? So where do you need to be in 3 months? About 12 pounds down. So where do you need to be in a month? Well, that's about 4 pounds a month, right? So set that goal, understand what that is, and continue to work toward it. Because when you set that goal, it feels more realistic. Think about it, 4 pounds a month, that's just a pound a week. That feels kind of realistic to do. But when you jump and you're like, okay, well, I have a goal to lose, 50 pounds this year, and then you keep thinking about the 50 and keep thinking about the 50, 6 months in, you probably lost nothing, or maybe you lost 5 and now you feel like a failure. But if you break down the goal into achievable milestones, now it's like, oh, I can do 4 pounds a month. That's easy work, right? I mean, and that's where that starting slow that we talked about comes in handy, because starting slow, you can still lose about a pound a month, especially if you're 200 pounds. That's literally like 0.5%, right? Because you know how they say you can lose 1% of your body weight a week or something like that. I remember when I was doing like Weight Watchers and stuff years ago, they said 1 to 2%, I think, right? So that's 1 pound for a 200 pound person is literally 0.5%. You can do 0.5% a week. That's amazing, right? So go for it. So yeah, set that goal. Set it just like I talked about, right? Make it achievable. Look at it as a SMART goal. You've heard of SMART goals, right? It's like specific, measurable, attainable, relative or relatable, relative, and timely, right? So looking at that, and you can Google SMART goals, but looking at that, you can decide, you can set a goal that you can actually achieve. All right. So that's the next step, is set that goal and stick to it, work toward it. All right. So the next step, and I don't know what number it is, but we'll put it down here somewhere, right? The next step is finding a way to manage stress. Like, this is a big one. I think this is, what is this, number 6 or something? I don't know. Right? But finding a way to manage stress is hugely important. And the reason this is so important is because people think that all these other things are affecting their health and their weight loss. And they are. I promise you, like other things, like the way you eat, the way you exercise, the move and exercise and all this stuff, it is. But the biggest culprit on weight, on holding on to excess weight, is stress and trauma. Right? When you can release stress and you find a way to manage your stress, it's a game changer in your weight. So that is going to be huge. And this could come with things like meditation. It could come with like literally like breathing exercises. It could come through prayer. It could come through journaling. Whatever that looks like for you. It could even come with mindset and reasoning. Like, okay, I thought I was going to get that new job and I didn't get the new job. So then it's like now you shift your mindset on, okay, so that just opened the door up for an even better job. You can shift like that, or you can stay in the, oh my gosh, I didn't get the job. It was going to be 20,000 more a year, and I was going to be doing this, I was going to be doing that, and blah, 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 right? And so now you're in the spiral. Or, you know what? That's just an opportunity that wasn't for me. The next one's for me. And it's shifting that, right? So now the stress of not getting the job doesn't impact you and your weight. Because I'm telling you, as someone who picked up some weight last year, stress was the main culprit. Really, stress was the only culprit, right? So really, really work on managing stress. And I'm pretty good at managing stress. And it still affected me. I mean, it was more so grief than anything else, but still, right? So figuring out ways to manage stress and trauma is golden, because for me that was trauma. But anyways, we got that, right? So that was that next tip. This next tip actually leans into tip number 2 around going into whole foods way of eating. And what it is it's planning your meals and setting yourself up for success when it comes to food. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying you have to be out here like, oh, I can only eat this, I can only eat that. No, what I'm saying is, or let me, write down everything I'm gonna eat in terms of like for the next 2 weeks kind of thing. Or let me get those little containers that have like 3 sections, and this one's for protein, this one's for starch, and this one's for vegetables, whatever. I'm not talking about that. When I'm talking about planning and setting yourself up for success, what I'm saying is having things in your house that's gonna keep you from door dashing and calling the pizza place, right? Calling Pizza Hut or whatever pizza place you go to. All right, and what that means is having simple, easy, and quick things at home that still align with your way of eating. So this, for me, some of the examples have been having tuna at the house, having shrimp at the house, having like a rotisserie chicken, just easy and grabbable. Because when we have those things, again, so some of the things you might have is rotisserie chicken. You can go and grab that from the grocery store or anywhere, right? One already cooked. Sometimes I'll grab one on like a Monday and just have it in the refrigerator for when I need it during the week. Shrimp's on the list because shrimp is super easy to make. It literally takes 2 minutes. Like, you can put it on the stove and in 2 minutes the shrimp is done, Super fast, super easy, can go on the top of a salad or whatever, right? A bag of salad, either a pre-made salad already there, or like, the salad in the bag kind of thing, or even just some lettuce that you can cut up really simply, really fast, right? Having that at the house makes things so much easier for when you come home, you're tired, you don't feel like doing anything. Let me just grab this bag of salad, it's already done for me, right? Things like ground turkey. Ground turkey and ground beef, we always have in our house. High quality, obviously. We always have it at the house because I know that at any given moment, I can go ahead and cook that up real fast. It takes me 10 minutes to cook it up, and now the kids and I can make, and my husband, we can do tacos, we can do it as a spaghetti. We can, we have so many easy, simple options for that. So that is another one, right? So just having some things at your home that align with your whole, with your whole foods lifestyle, away from processed foods, that are easy and quick to make is gold, right? And so start thinking about what that looks like for you, like what you can eat, what you like. Things that are simple, fruits, right? Fruits, because that can be an easy snack. Things that are going to keep you away from McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, or whatever fast food you go to often, right? And pizza place or DoorDash, and like what's going to keep you away from there. Have those things at the house that are going to be simple, quick, and easy, because it helps set you up for success long term. All right. And the last step, the last thing I would do in 2025 if I wanted to lose 50 or more pounds, I would get help, all right? And the reason I throw that in there, and when I say get help, and I've talked about this along the way, like having a, either a personal trainer, health coach, whatever, right? Having that is really important. I used to do that for a long time. I don't do that anymore, but I do have, friends, people that I know that do it, and colleagues, right? That I could definitely refer you to if you wanted. If you, drop a comment and say, hey, I'd love a referral, I got you. Otherwise, you can always find somebody in your neighborhood, in your area, whatever. But having help, having support is super important. The reason it's important is because if you could do it by yourself, you've done it already. That's number 1, right? Number 2, having guidance on what your body is doing right now especially if you're a woman over a certain age. Like, I'm talking to my ladies who are perimenopausal, premenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal, right? Having support, having help, someone who is actually testing what's happening with your body and giving you a protocol and information based on that, like step-by-step planning based on what's happening with your specific body, is super important right now, right? In that age group. So if that's your age group, getting help is really important. I'm not talking about just like a personal trainer, unless your personal trainer is also a functional nutritionist and, you know, some other things, right? I would say either have a team, meaning you've got a personal trainer, a health coach, a mindset coach, right? Because then you're hitting the nutrition, movement, and self-care all together, right? So if you have, you know, a team of those 3 people, cool. Or if you have one person that does all those things, like that's kind of what I used to do. I was doing mindset coaching along with the nutrition piece and the personal training piece, like putting it all together. If you have someone who has that, and I know a few people who are doing that, that's golden, right? So really getting that help and support from someone that knows what the heck they're doing and is gonna give you personalized support for your specific body. They're gonna do some tests, they're gonna like really make it happen. That's amazing, right? That's what you need. That will help you be more successful in 2025. But here's that bonus thing, right? Getting help, yes, that's important. And you still need some accountability, because you may have professional help where they're doing the test, they give you a protocol, blah, 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 but maybe there's no community. Community is going to be super key in this process, because no one wants to do it alone. Sometimes even when you have, you know, the doctor or you know, health coach or whomever, or even personal trainer, it's just you and them, right? And so they may not be doing the accountability that you need on this journey, right? And in 2025, if you want to make this happen with as busy as we are in this world, you're going to need accountability, support, and community. Community is super key, because having someone else who's been doing it too, right? A group of other women who are on this journey as well and are, you know, giving ideas like, hey, you know what happened to me today? I was dropping the kids off at track practice and starving because I just finished work and they now had to go to track practice. I hadn't eaten anything since breakfast, and it's 5 p.m. and I'm starving. So I make sure that I always have XYZ in the car with me or in my purse. I always have a bag of almonds in my purse with me, so that if something happens, you know, I don't have to, it stopped me from going to McDonald's, right? That idea alone now gives you the idea to do it when that happens to you, right? Just these types of things that happen in the community is golden. And that's why we created our membership here on YouTube, because folks are starting to connect and talk, right? We had it on another platform, and we actually brought it to YouTube because we wanted folks to have that opportunity to connect together, be able to be on a platform that they already know, right, and already enjoy. So folks are like chatting and stuff like that in there, you know, on lives and stuff like that, right? So my point is, have that community and that support, right? And even the motivation that comes with it. So one of the things that I do in the membership is I'm always our YouTube. Sorry, one of the things I always do for our YouTube members is I'll go live and show like behind the scenes. Like I'll show like some of the things that I'm doing with the kids to promote a healthy lifestyle for our family long term. I'll show like some of the meals that I'm making to create those simplified meals, right? Those simple things that I don't feel like sitting in the kitchen cooking for an hour and a half, or I don't have an hour and a half today to cook. You know what? Here we go. We got this, right? Like these are the things that we get to do and create. And so having that community and sharing that is super important, right? So if you haven't hopped into our membership, go ahead and check it out, right? See if it's for you. It might not be for you, but if it is, go ahead and join now before we modify the prices, because why not, right? Anyways, so that's what I would do in 2025 if I wanted to lose 50 or more pounds, right? I would set myself up for success, setting a goal, starting now and moving, right? Setting myself up for success by removing all processed foods and stepping into a whole foods way of eating and having those simple things there. Creating a stress management system, right? So that you can manage stress, because that's impacting weight more than almost anything else. And then, of course, getting an idea of how many calories you're supposed to eat. What does 4 ounces of chicken look like? Like really getting an idea of what that is and then leaning into it, because you may think 4 ounce chicken look like this, right? So you're like, oh, I had this amount of chicken, that's 4 ounces, right? You could start weighing it. You can start, you know, so many different things that you can do, right? And so really, really leaning into what works for you, meaning like having someone help you and guide you along that journey, having a professional who is really tracking against your body and not just a generalized 1,200 calories a day, just go for it, and affecting your metabolism and things like that, or affecting your stress levels, because the body gets stressed when it doesn't eat enough, right? So I'm not gonna get into all that in this video. We got a whole another year to keep chatting and more and longer, but I wanted to share those tips on what to do in 2025 if you want to lose 50 or more pounds, all right? And what I would do. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to watch my mom's next video.